Engaging, enlightening, informative. This is WLOX News This Week.
Hi, thanks so much for being with us. I'm Dave Elliott. Of course, that general election set for November 7th. This morning, we're going to focus on the top of the ticket, the governor's race. And joining us, Republican and incumbent Governor Tate Reeves. Always good to have you on the coast. Thanks so much for being with us, Governor.
Thanks, Dave. Always good to be on the coast.
You know, I want to talk about issues in a moment. We don't have a lot of time, but I just want to hit a couple of campaign things very quickly. All the polling data I've seen has you up 4 to 10 points. How much faith do you put in polls? Do you follow polls? Is your campaign doing internal polling, and what is it telling you?
Well, of course we're doing internal polling, but look, here's what the people need to understand. The only poll that matters is Election Day, and it's the people who are going to decide this governor's race are the people who go to the polls and vote on November the 7th. And so while I'm certainly proud of the fact that we continue to lead in the polls in spite of the unprecedented millions of dollars from California, New York, and Washington, D.C. that my opponent's spending against us. I'm most proud of the fact in those polling that shows us up 25 points on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. When I ran 4 years ago, I said I was going to be a governor that focuses and ensures that every single penny that is the coast is entitled to, that they get it, and I've kept my word every single day. And I think the people of the Gulf Coast appreciate that.
Your opponent has millions of dollars, but so do you. $10 million.
Well, I've raised the vast majority of my money from the state of Mississippi. He's raised the vast majority of his money from the state of California.
So just got $3 million this week from the Democratic Governors Association.
That's exactly right.
The tone of the campaign I want to talk to you a little bit about. You launched with Mississippi Momentum. It's Mississippi's time. Very positive, very uplifting. You do have commercials running with teachers in the classroom talking about test scores and teacher pay raises and jobs. You have commercials. But then there's the dark side of every campaign. Brandon Presley, another Lion liberal, and he's doing the same thing with tainted Tate Reeves, and I'll talk to him about that next week. But I think voters want to know, why can't these things all be conducted on the high road? Why do we need these negative ads?
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, we did start our campaign talking about Mississippi's momentum because Mississippi's momentum is real. We've talked a lot about the record low unemployment rate in our state, the record number of people that are working across the state. We've talked about the incredible performance of our K through 12 schools. And not only have we talked about it, we've had a lot of other people that are Mississippians talk about it and the progress that we've made. And I'm very, very proud of that. Unfortunately, my opponent started his race by falsely attacking us. And he's never stopped. And he, you know, my grandmother used to say, there are some people that would rather climb up a tree to tell a lie than stand on the ground and tell the truth. And unfortunately, my opponent is one of those people.
Well, both sides are doing it, and it's in every campaign. I think that might be one reason.
I agree that both sides are doing it.
Another Lion liberal?
Well, we're telling the truth about my opponent, and we're also telling the truth about Mississippi's momentum.
Okay. Debates. It looks like my prediction is you're going to have this one debate on November 1st at a Jackson television station. Your opponent and many others are saying, let's have 4 or 5 debates. I'd moderate a debate tomorrow night, throw 2 microphones out there without any rules. I'm good to go. But people are naive about how difficult it is to put together a debate. Why wouldn't you work harder to maybe do more debates around the state?
Well, we're traveling all over Mississippi talking to Mississippians about Mississippi's momentum. We've worked to schedule debates with my opponent, and I think that he's finally agreed to it. You know, after literally the last several months debating about the debates and claiming that's all he wanted to do, he's been slow rolling even the one debate that fit into our schedule. And so the fact of the matter is, we're going to continue talking directly to the people of Mississippi. We have agreed to a debate. We hope he agrees to it. And if he does, we'll sit down and we'll talk about what he wants to do to Mississippi, which is basically make it more like California, versus the momentum that we have in our state under conservative leadership.
Taxes. You did spearhead, and along with the legislature, the largest tax cut in state history 2 years ago. You've been trying to eliminate it altogether. The legislature's been resisting that. I assume you're going to continue to push for that. How do you get lawmakers, particularly in the Senate, to get on board with eliminating the state income tax?
Well, I'll tell you, I spearheaded the largest tax cut in state history as lieutenant governor in 2016, and then I signed into law an even bigger tax cut in 2021. We've cut taxes by over $1 billion in the last 6 years in the state of Mississippi. But is there's no doubt that we really need to continue to recognize that to our west is Texas, to our east is Florida, to our north is Tennessee, and they all have a competitive advantage against us because they do not have an income tax and we do. So when we're trying to recruit business and industry here, something that we've done incredibly well in the last 4 years, but we're at a competitive disadvantage. And so if we would eliminate our income tax, we would be on a more level playing field, more jobs would come to Mississippi and more people would come to Mississippi. And the way we're going to get it done is I think this is what the people of Mississippi want. And so we're going to continue to enlist the help of Mississippians all over the state, talking to their legislators, both Republicans and Democrats, about the importance of eliminating the income tax so that Mississippi continue to prosper.
And so how do you offset the loss to the general fund? I know there are ways of doing that, and you can say economic growth will take care of that. Tax collections will take care of that if you have a thriving economy. But the reality is there's going to be billions of dollars taken out of the general fund.
Well, first of all, those billions of dollars would not be taken out of anywhere because, of course, government doesn't have anything that doesn't first take from somebody else. Those billions of dollars are going to be staying in the pockets of Mississippians. And so the reality is that we've collected over $1 billion more than was budgeted in each of the last 2 years. So not only would we see more economic growth, we've already seen tremendous amounts of economic growth, billions of dollars more in receipts. We'd have to continue to get control of spending. When I came into office 10 years ago, Mississippi had 33,000 state employees. Today we have about 24,000 state employees. It's about controlling the growth of government, controlling spending, and letting people keep more of their money because individual Mississippians will always know better how to spend their own money than any governmental entity ever will.
Okay, another idea on the tax cut front has been cutting or eliminating the grocery tax. It's a very popular thing to go out and talk about. Brandon Presley supports it, and privately I know a lot of Republicans do in the legislature as well. It's not popular with cities. I don't know if people realize that. The Municipal League fights this thing. But why not consider that? I think it would help working families and would help people on fixed incomes to at least consider it.
Well, Dave, I will tell you, I've never seen a tax cut that I was opposed to. If the
So you would support that?
If the legislature were to send me a bill that cuts taxes and doesn't raise other taxes, and also finds a way to make local governments whole so that they don't have to raise property taxes, then that's something that I would be certainly amenable to. Of course, you can't just go around and say we're going to cut the grocery tax and not have a plan to deal with the tremendous lost revenue at the local level. You can't just go talk about trying to cut car tax in half, recognizing that property taxes, of course, Dave, are collected at the county level. And so it's easy to go out and promise everybody in the 12th grade when you're running for class president that you're going to put a Coke machine on every hallway. But actually the logistics of getting it done is a whole different thing.
Yeah, and
so cities and counties would be out millions and millions of dollars under those two proposals.
And I want to point out to people,
plan.
none of that can be done with the stroke of a pen by an executive action. It takes the legislature.
Of course it does.
So a lot of people need to
Of course
realize
it
that.
does.
Medicaid expansion. Another thing Brandon Presley is running on, and another thing that privately a lot of Republicans have told me they really wish the state had done. We had a chance in 2011. Why would you turn away billions of dollars in federal money?
Well, I don't know any Republicans that are actively supporting.
Privately supporting.
That are actively supporting. Well, again, Dave, that's the problem with politicians that are going to privately support something. Well, we're running an election. Why don't they tell the whole world, tell their constituents that they want to expand welfare by almost 300,000 people? I have opposed Obamacare expansion since the beginning, and I will continue to oppose it because Mississippi needs fewer people on welfare, not more people on welfare. I worked closely with our hospital leaders all across this state, literally from Gulfport Memorial here in Harrison County all the way up to North Mississippi Medical Center and hospitals all throughout the state to develop a plan that's going to increase funding for our hospitals by almost $700 million. Experts have said that this is going to literally save hospitals all across the state. And we're not adding 300,000 people to welfare. These are able-bodied Mississippians that are adults that the Democrat Party just wants to put on the welfare rolls that should not be put on them.
And we'll read and find out more about that plan. And we're almost out of time. This TANF scandal. Last time you were on, I thought we thoroughly covered the TANF scandal. But since one more thing has come up that I have to ask you about.
Okay.
It's been reported, even though there's no evidence, even according to the Jackson media. Did you ever text with or talk to Brett Favre in 2020 about the volleyball complex up at Southern Miss?
So in 2020, after I was elected, I had the opportunity at his request to speak with him. He asked if we could help with the volleyball facility, and I said no, we cannot, because every single thing at the of the TANF scandal occurred between 2015 and 2019, before I ever was elected governor. Even the Jackson Press, which is in Brandon Presley's pocket, has said everything Brandon Presley has said about this is false, it's half-baked, it's dishonest, and Brandon Presley is lying to the people of Mississippi.
You didn't work with Brett Favre. You did a little bit on the volleyball complex.
I spoke with him in 2020 after the money was already sent there, after I was elected governor, and we didn't ever send a penny to that particular thing. In fact, my administration is actually the administration that is suing many of the people who got funds that they should not have gotten, and we're recouping every single penny for the taxpayers that we possibly can. We're in court right now.
Okay. As always, I wish we had more time. Governor Tate Reeves, November 7th is the general election. Thanks so much for being with us here on the Mississippi Coast. Good to see you.
Great to see you, Dave.
Okay, next week, by the way, Democrat Brandon Presley is scheduled to be on the show, so we'll get a look at the other side of this story. Meanwhile, stay with us. We'll be right back with more.